Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Sail to breathtaking destinations in Alaska or Europe with the Disney Cruise Line. Discover where onboard magic meets onshore adventures, where beloved characters
Hiya, pal!
meet alluring landscapes, where Broadway quality shows meet historic cities, where imaginative dining meets amazing wildlife, and where exciting experiences await the whole family. Book an adventure-filled summer Disney cruise to Alaska or Europe.
Severance Season 2 is coming to Apple TV+.
What you all did 5 months ago was one of the most painful moments in the history of this company.
Our message got out. We're famous.
All of us equally, or one of us is like the star?
What did you see?
My Audi's wife is Miss Casey.
If you want to find out what happened to her, I'll help. She's still alive.
I want to see my wife.
We should have left.
Severance. New season streaming January 17th. Only on Apple TV+.
Amazon One Medical presents Painful Thoughts.
I could catch anything sitting in this doctor's waiting room. Ugh, a kid just wiped his runny nose on my jacket. And the guy next to me, sitting in a pool of perspiration, insists on sharing my armrest. Ugh.
Next time, make an appointment with an Amazon One Medical provider. There's no waiting and no sweaty guy. Amazon One Medical. Healthcare just got less painful.
Pros trust the Home Depot for heavy-duty storage solutions for any job site or garage. Right now, get up to 25% off select online storage and organization. Impact and water-resistant totes and shelving built to hold up to 2,500 pounds. Storage systems have space for all your tools and protect them in the garage, on the job site, and everywhere in between. Save time and maximize efficiency with adjustable shelving customized to your business needs. Shop and save on pro-grade storage at the Home Depot. How pros get more done.
Episode 474,
We wrote a book!
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast, where you'll learn to save money, embrace simplicity, and live a richer life. Here are your hosts, Jen and Jill.
Welcome to the Frugal Friends podcast. My name is Jen.
My name is Jill.
And today we are celebrating the release of our debut book, Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. And we are doing it with a behind-the-scenes episode. So you will not learn anything about how to buy what you love without going broke. If you want to do that, you should go back to episode 472, titled How to Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. This one is for our frugal friends and our old frugal friends and new frugal friends who want an inside peek behind the curtains, what went down with writing the book.
So sorry for yelling at you in the beginning, but we also know that if you even chose to listen to this episode, you the real deal. And you know we yell, and you were already prepared for this. So yeah, this is not going to be an episode where we're giving a ton of tips. This is us hanging out.
We are interviewing each
about
other.
The process.
So if you are interested in publishing a book, even self-publishing a book, you will be really interested in this episode. If you are just interested in Jill and I, you will really like this episode.
But first, this episode is brought to you by the star herself.
She is beauty, she is grace.
The one and only Buy What You Love Without Going Broke book. She's what we're talking about today. She released to the public today. It is January 7th. If you're listening to this podcast on the day it releases, it's how we're celebrating. Get her in your hands.
If you don't already.
Buywhatyoulovebook.com. And here's the deal about this, folks. It's out into the world. You're not even pre-ordering anymore. You're just ordering. But also, if you do order this book soon, like within the next couple of days, you would be able to join our final free live event where we are doing an entire spending plan together. We are creating a 1-year spending plan, walking you through the how-tos of how to do that on January 29th. So that's going to be available for all of you who do purchase this book before that date. Then you also have to fill out the form, the same place you're going, buywhatyoulovebook.com. It's where you can pre-order the book. And it's also where you can fill out this form to get access to that live class. So Jen and I are going to be live with you all, walking you through that. If that sounds like something that could really help you in the new year, you should do it. And for those of you who can't make it live, but you pre-ordered the book and you filled out the form, you'll get access to the recording.
Yeah, easy peasy. Okay. So we wrote Buy What You Love Without Going Broke a year ago, essentially. And so we have since been promoting it, talking your ear off about it, talking about it in the Friendletter. And so we are going to interview each other about the process and what you may not have heard us talking about on the show or even on other people's shows. If you found Frugal Friends from listening to one of the 50 interviews we gave on podcasts, you wouldn't have heard the stuff there either. So we were very excited to share it with you. Okay, my first question, Jill, why a book? Why do we need a book when we have a podcast?
Great question, Jen. And I'm so glad that you're asking me specifically this question, because here's the real behind the scenes for you. This was never my dream, Jill. This is Jill talking. I have written things before. I am coming into enjoying reading more and more, but I never had this long-term goal or vision of writing a book. But you did, Jen. And here's the thing. I'm here to support other people's visions. If I'm just going to talk straight, when people ask about why did you start the podcast, truly my motivation, couple of things, but it was to help you and to help my husband.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to start a podcast from the ground up and more do the back end audio stuff and be able to get into the podcasting world. And you wanted a marketing arm for your business. And I just wanted to help y'all achieve your visions and your goals. And I was here for it. And I saw that it could benefit me in learning about a topic that I'm not typically interested in. Or I knew that there were large knowledge gaps for me and that I'd get better on the mic and I'd get better at interviewing people. And so specifically for me, part of it was to support this next goal that you had. And we thought this would probably be better together than apart. This could definitely be a really good launching point off of the podcast. But then beyond that, like why write a book in general? You do have the podcast. I think one of the reasons for me was to solidify this knowledge a little more. To me, I've kind of equated a book as similar to a musician creating an album. Like they have these songs, maybe you've heard them play their songs out. Maybe they've put a song out, on the internet for you to be able to listen to on Spotify. But an album brings cohesion to the musical concepts and is something that can live on. It represents a kind of a point in time, but can go beyond you and can be meaningful to other people. So for me, a book has felt like that, like the coalescence of these ideas, the things that we've been talking about in a little bit more of a succinct manner that can benefit others and live beyond us a bit.
Mm-hmm. And I'm so glad that you found your own inspiration and motivation for getting on board with the book, because so many of my ideas you go along with. I feel
I'm your ride or die.
Yeah, and I never want to feel like I'm pulling you into something you don't want to be in.
Yeah,
because
sometimes it happens.
I know. But it really was like my dream to write a book that is traditionally published. I've self-published several books, and I just didn't get the opportunity to take them as seriously as I should have. And I didn't value myself highly enough to value the work that I was putting out. And so for me, this book is the culmination of valuing myself, what I bring to the table, valuing us and the amazing community and product that we have created over the last 7 years. So it was a celebration and also a chance to usher in a new voice in personal finance, because so much of it is about earning money or investing. And if anything is about saving money or spending it, it is a chapter in a book, and it is the ugly stepsister to earning and investing. And I love spending money. I love it. I love what it gets me. And that shouldn't be shamed. So the opportunity to reframe that, and knowing that there are other voices in the community that are saying that, and if this book does well, then they will have the opportunity to say it again and again in their own voices. Felt like a responsibility and a gift.
Yeah, I think when we talk about contentment versus complacency, like, we are content in what we're doing, but we also have goals of growth and things that we want to grow inside of ourselves as a business, more things we want to offer to our community. And this is a part of that expansion that, you know, it can be for some people, if they desire it, a natural next step. And, you know, even though our podcasts are close to an hour long, it's still just a snippet. And I think a book allows you to really take a reader on a journey and expand upon concepts in a more kind of sit down time that you can really digest this information, make it your own, ask yourself questions, start to implement. I think that a book can solidify action steps, possibly for the more long term than potentially like a singular podcast episode could.
Yeah.
Okay, question for you, Jen. What was the writing process like?
I loved the writing process. We had a year to write it, and we wrote it in 3 months, at the very last 3 months, which every other writer I've ever talked to has done the same exact thing. And we wrote a good portion of it and then realized it needed to be different. So we rewrote it again. Like,
that was not my favorite.
I felt super strongly about how it should make me feel. I run on vibes, and the vibes weren't it. And we just needed to rewrite it and reformat it until the vibes were it. And they are it now.
Yeah.
It was worth it. And we butted heads on some of the ways that we wanted to say things. But like, if you listen to the show, we come from different backgrounds. We say the same thing in different ways, and that's the magic. In a podcast, that's a lot easier to do than in a print book. So we had to navigate that. But like, this was a fantastic, like the writing process was fantastic for us because it solidified what we're doing and where we want to, like, how we want to do it going forward.
Can you remember specific portions where there was some of that rub and how we say things?
Chapter 3. Chapter 3 was the bane of our existence.
For both of us, for sure. Yeah. Chapter 3 was a rough one. We kind of knew what we wanted to say, but we also knew we needed to say more on it.
It was such
and we didn't know how. I think one of the most difficult parts for me was cohesion throughout. I think whenever people would ask me about, like, how's the writing process going? How's the book coming along? It's like, I felt as though each chapter could stand on its own. And I actually still feel that way. I think in some ways we wrote each chapter as if we could pull that chapter out and do a whole podcast series on it.
We have.
or put it together. And that has been my biggest concern is how are these transitions going? What is the journey that the person's taking? Does it make sense that this is the order that they're going in? And chapter 3 really felt like a pivotal chapter of taking you from how to identify what you love into how to say no to what you don't, but how do we help the reader get there? So super important chapter, just really struggled with it. I made the joke along the way. I'm like, wouldn't it be so great if this became our favorite chapter? Because it had been just this total rub the whole time. I still don't think it's either one of our favorites. It's not our favorite
chapter.
But it is.
It's really
so much better.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes.
It's good, but it's definitely like, not our favorite.
It's a necessary chapter. Not every chapter is the best chapter, but they're all necessary to get you there.
What's your favorite chapter?
So this is different for both of us. Oh, there's so many good ones. I like snippets in each one, but I think I realized when we were reading the audiobook, I think chapter 9 is my favorite. You've got to get through most of the book to get there. But as I was reading aloud the concepts, it was almost counseling myself, reading it back, because we finished writing this back in May. And then we read the book aloud for the audiobook in November. So we really didn't look at it. We kind of just like left it.
I know. We had
let
to.
the editing team do what they were doing. Because you can't change
anything else. So you just got to let it go.
So it was kind of like coming back to it with a fresh perspective and reading it aloud. And I think that really drove home for me. And maybe it has to do with like the particular season that I'm in right now too. Chapter 9, so it's contentment over complacency. So it's a lot of kind of how we approach and think about money, the narrative that we tell ourselves, what we can do with some of the regrets that we might have, how we move forward, how we identify our enough, how we practice gratitude. So kind of more of these like cerebral concepts that just felt like balm to me currently.
I would say for me, 10.
Yeah.
So it's the final chapter.
It should be. If it's not for you, I'm going to make it yours.
It's outside. So we've got an intro, and then the first 3 chapters are part 1. Then we've got part 2, and then part 3, and then chapter 10 is outside of that. And it's definitely my favorite. Though I think part 3, while it is the least sexy of the chapters, it has the fewest action steps. But I believe it will be the most life-changing for people. I do believe that if you get to part 3 and you apply it not just to spending, but everything else in your life, it will be transformative.
It's funny because we did write the book in some parts, assuming that people aren't going to read past the first chapter. We were like, we really need to make this good because many people don't continue reading. But our favorites are the final 2 chapters. So make it through. Make it through the whole thing. It's not all good.
It's not a long book is the thing. We didn't make it a novel because we wanted you to be able to get through it in a month. We want book clubs to do this book, and we want everyone to be able to get through it in 1 month so that you can talk about it with your group. And so it's paced well in order to do that. All right. What's the promotion process been like in your words, Jill?
Horrific.
Wow. That's not what I wanted to hear.
Hey, we're bearing all, right? I'm being honest. I am not a marketer. You all know this. I don't care for marketing just as an idea, a concept. And then to market yourself, it has felt very self-promotion. And I've had to shift some things in my thinking in that I truly do think this book is going to help people. And that helped me in promoting it. But still, like the tactics behind marketing and trying to get people to buy something and sell them on an idea, I just don't like it. I feel like people are smart. They know what they want. If they want to buy something, they're going to buy it. If they don't want to buy it, they're not going to buy it. Like, I don't want to over-influence people. It doesn't feel like congruent and in part maybe even ethical. So I'm not a fan of it. I don't care for marketing, but we have had to kind of get into the minds of people to be able to say yes to having us on their podcasts. And how would, TV stations and radio networks, what would they want to hear in order to say yes to us? So it feels like I have to tap into a part of me that I don't want to. Like, I don't want to learn how to do that. I just either want people to be interested in the message or not. So I've not loved it, but there's an end in sight. How about you?
I've loved it.
You are very good at marketing.
Well, because I believe so strongly in the message, and we don't market products. Like, we don't sell a lot of things. We talk about some things that we use, that we love, and we have a lot of affiliate links for those things, but we don't heavily market anything. Mm-hmm. And I think I just love the message in this book, and to have somebody, and I think the book, almost the title sells itself, mm-hmm. which I love. I think if you can do a few things right in marketing, it's 80-20 rule. You do 20% of things right, 80% of your marketing is done for you. And I have enjoyed talking to my friends. I have so many podcaster, host friends. So it's felt like I get almost a coffee date with a friend, and then also get the added bonus of having them talk about my book, and my book gets to help their audience. So I have loved marketing this book, coming up with ideas, innovating, getting creative is really where I find my fulfilling work, because I want to use the marketer's game against them. I wrote the chapter on marketing and how Edward Bernays and Manufactured Desire, all that was me. That was my chapter. And it makes me so happy to use their game against them, to not manipulate, but educate and use an ethical form of marketing and kind of reframe marketing to be ethical. So I have loved it.
And we're two different people.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Sail to breathtaking destinations in Alaska or Europe with the Disney Cruise Line. Discover where onboard magic meets onshore adventures, where beloved characters
Hiya, pal!
meet alluring landscapes, where Broadway quality shows meet historic cities, where imaginative dining meets amazing wildlife, and where exciting experiences await the whole family. Book an adventure-filled summer Disney cruise to Alaska or Europe.
Cheap Caribbean is celebrating more than just the new year in 2025. Cheap Caribbean Vacations is celebrating its 25th birthday, too. You're invited to join in on the birthday fun and book a beach vacation with more savings. Now through February 3rd, you can unlock up to $250 off site-wide vacation packages. Celebrate these awesome savings at your favorite beach and book your next all-inclusive vacay at cheapcaribbean.com. Your $250 off is waiting.
Amazon One Medical presents Painful Thoughts.
I could catch anything sitting in this doctor's waiting room. Ugh, a kid just wiped his runny nose on my jacket. And the guy next to me, sitting in a pool of perspiration, insists on sharing my armrest. Ugh.
Next time, make an appointment with an Amazon One Medical provider. There's no waiting and no sweaty guy. Amazon One Medical. Healthcare just got less painful.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP Extended Life Oil Filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today. with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Okay, Jen, you have written other books before, but you've self-published. This is the first time that you have traditionally published a book, and it's this one, the one that we've done together. What have you found to be the difference between this, traditionally publishing, and self-publishing?
So it's a lot slower process. When I self-published, I was able to get idea to Amazon in 3 months. So it has been a slower process, and I'm actually thankful for that. I've enjoyed this process 90% of the time.
Yeah.
It's been great to have a lot of other eyes on the book. So an editor, a copy editor, proofreaders. It's been great to have somebody else in PR to make a quasi effort in promoting our book, even though we did 90% of it. And it's been great to have distribution. It's costing us money. But actually in the long run, I think it will be it'll make us more money with like other doors that it opens up, that self-publishing just doesn't give you the credibility. I guess there's so many pros and cons. As a content creator, traditional publishing really can establish us in these traditional outlets. I think if we came from a more traditional, like corporate background, we wouldn't need the legitimacy that traditional publishing might offer us. But I think it is, again, I kind of did this to validate to myself that what we've built is bigger than ourselves.
Yeah.
And so that has been it. But I still believe in self-publishing and I'd love to help people who are self-publishing and traditionally published market their books better, because there's so much gap.
Yeah, you are brilliant at it.
With people who are very successful but did not market their books well, and people who have self-published and done really well, or could do really well, but are just missing like some marketing pieces.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in that, reach out to me, because I'm thinking about it.
Nice.
Jill, what has been your favorite part of this whole experience?
I'm going to say 2 things.
Okay,
thanks. So the first is, it was so fun to have publishers fight over us with money. That was my favorite part. I think we talked about this on a recent episode, actually. You've heard me say this already. But so with the traditional publishing route, we wrote a proposal first. So it included some sample chapters of the book. It included kind of an overview of what it's about, who it's for, a marketing plan, our platform, how we're going to talk.
So much. It was like 80 pages.
Yeah,
it was dense.
It was long. And so we did hire an agent, and that agent helped get us in front of some of these publishers. And we had 3 traditional publishers.
4. We had 4 publishers
interested in us,
who wanted to back it up with money.
Yeah. So what happens in that circumstance when there's multiple publishers interested in buying a book, is what they're doing, even though the book isn't written yet, it goes to auction. So they have a certain amount of time to give their bid on the book. And it includes money. It includes other terms as well, kind of other benefits that you might receive in the process. And so thankfully, we were able to go with the highest bid because we also loved that editor and publisher the most too. It was our favorite kind of conversation and meeting that we had. We felt like our editor really understood the book. She is kind of our target demographic, which has been really fun to also get fresh eyes on the content and be able to say like, yes, this makes sense. No, this doesn't. Give more examples, say more.
More stories.
Yeah.
That was a big thing.
Yeah. So that was really fun. And I think one of those kind of core validation moments for me throughout the span of having this business and doing this together, that felt like, whoa, outside of you and I, there's people who are seeing this message, wanting it, believing in it so much that they're willing to like invest in it. And then beyond that, I have had a lot of fun in this stage of the book as well. I think, while I don't care for the marketing, what I'm talking about is the reaching at like the cold pitching. That to me has been the worst. But talking about the book to our Frugal Friends community and being on interviews about it and, you know, explaining it more through our own podcast has meant spending more time together. Like you and I have been in person a lot more, on a lot more podcasts, and that engagement and interaction and finding new ways to talk about these concepts and seeing how it's connecting with people. You know, those moments when you're talking with someone and a concept just kind of like clicks and it sparks more ideas. That's been happening a ton as the result of this content. And so I think, yeah, I've really enjoyed more time with you. Like I've been noticing, I feel like more alive recently. I feel like not as kind of just like ho-hum. I feel a bit rejuvenated. I feel kind of like inspired. And I think it's because we're kind of out of that like dark, quiet phase of the book and into now we can talk about it and it makes sense to talk about it. And we can be having these really crucial conversations with people and be helping others with the book. And we're starting to see what it's creating and what it's doing. And that's been very fun.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, the auction happened on my birthday. And that was also my favorite thing. And then we went out to a Mexican restaurant and got a pitcher of margaritas and chips and salsa and queso and guac. And that was
sure did. The margarita was your favorite part.
The margarita was my favorite part.
Margarita.
Yeah, the multi-6-figure book deal was fantastic, but the marg did it.
And to be clear, that money is paid over the span of like 3 years. So.
3 years. Yeah. And split between two people. So.
And our agent.
Yes.
It goes
three
quick.
people. It's split between 3 people, spread over 3 years. So that's fun.
That's why we really need you to buy it.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, I would say my favorite part has been the interviews as well. Again, just like being able to catch up with people and talk about the thing that I love most is so life-giving.
Yeah.
Like this has felt so purposeful.
Oh, yeah.
I love it.
Yay. Okay. What's next?
Ooh. Margarita, probably.
Yeah, I know, truly. Yeah, the book just came out today. Like we can celebrate that a little bit.
Pitcher margs. So I would love to do more speaking, like public speaking. Yes, probably do a little bit more writing, like on the internet. Now that I am, like I can write about this more than I talk about it, but I still love talking about it. And instead of doing podcasts, I'd love to do public speaking, whatever that looks like, in person or virtual. But yeah, so if you have any conferences where you think I would like to hear Jen speak at the conference I go to, then send me that way.
We are speaking tonight, actually.
Yeah, when we're recording this, we're speaking tonight at Nerd Night, which is like a nerdy TED Talk style event.
I'm excited for it.
Same.
Yeah, for me, and we've been talking about this a lot. Like, okay, where do we go from here? This feels like such a big milestone, and how do we continue to make meaning out of this milestone? And how do we build upon the foundation that we continue to build? How do we keep building, I guess? And one of the things that I keep coming back to is how life-giving the podcast is. I really love doing this. unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, it in and of itself doesn't generate, the revenue that we would need to keep going.
Yeah. We appreciate you listening to the advertisements on the show. That is what funds the show.
It's the only thing that funds the show. And we don't want to hawk products to you, and we don't want you to have to pay for content. Like I'm the same. I'm the same as you. I'm not a subscription person. Like I have a couple, but I'm not going to pay for every podcast that I listen to, for better or worse. It's just kind of like how we have the system we've all created, that we do expect to get this content for free. And you know what? I love helping people. Like truly, it fuels me. So I want to keep doing this, but also recognizing it's good to have goals beyond that. It's good to also be able to like find ways to monetize so that you can keep doing the thing that you love.
Mm-hmm.
So all that to say though, what's next is continuation. Like I don't want to stop the podcast. If anything, we might even be considering a third episode.
Have talked about maybe doing like a Sunday episode that's more personal.
Yeah, like a Sunday reset kind of thing.
Yeah.
I'm also considering recently doing like providing like financial therapy. So being able to blend, because I found a lot of enjoyment in that, being able to blend both now my gained personal finance knowledge with my mental health background. I love that blend. But it's curious to me too. I mean, of course, if you're listening, we are assuming you're like the top 1% fans of the show. I would be so curious to hear from you all.
Yeah.
What do you want from us next? I know you haven't read the book yet, so that'll probably be helpful. Read the book and then maybe respond. But even what you know of us so far, what more would you want from us? I know Jen
that you would be willing to pay money for. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah, but
or support in the monetization of.
That is part of it, but I also think that there are things people could want that could generate money in and of themselves that like isn't costing them money all the time. So, I mean, it could, even if it means like more video or content about this, or I do actually want help in this area and you're the people that I would want that help from. But I mean, if you are a person who pays for subscriptions, like, let us know that too.
Yeah,
but,
maybe we're wrong.
Right. Yeah, right.
So, yeah. But I think, the reason I want to do more speaking is I'd like to take money from people with large budgets.
Yes,
that's who I would like to pay me. Yeah.
But I'd be curious, what do you guys want to see from us next? Do you
Yeah.
have any ideas after hearing about kind of where we've come from, where we currently are, where we're thinking we want to go? Let us know your thoughts on it.
Because you are the ones that told us where to take the book. So this is a story that I don't think we've shared on the podcast, but we spent $5,000 on a book coach to help us write the proposal. And when we got back, I had about 100 note cards with notes on them. And I put them all up and I was like, this isn't the book. Like it just, I mean, this isn't the book. She's worked with, best-selling authors. She knows what sells, but this ain't it for us. This isn't the vibe. So we asked.
Now I'm like having flashbacks to all those note cards up on
I know.
your closet doors.
And we asked you.
Yeah.
What's the thing that we've talked about that has changed your life the most? And 100% of you said values-based spending. It wasn't a contest. And that's how we came up with the book. So we value your opinions. We love you.
Do you know something that we came up with entirely on our own before we even had people's opinions to ask?
Y'all didn't help this at all.
We've kept it.
The Bill of the Week!
That's right. It's time for the best minute of your entire week. Maybe a baby was born and his name is William. Maybe you paid off your mortgage. Maybe your car died and you're happy to not have to pay that bill anymore. Duck bills, Buffalo Bills, Bill Clinton. This is the Bill of the Week.
Hey, Jen and Jill. This is Jill. My Bill of the Week. Last week, I received a health insurance bill that was $30 lower than I was expecting. And I was over the moon because of the savings. So for those folks out there that are kind of self-sufficient, like I never thought I would do any kind of charity or any kind of benefit, any kind of that stuff. I did apply for help with health insurance premiums and it came through. And for some reason, they have actually increased the benefit. So please don't be ashamed to ask for that kind of help because nobody expected health insurance to get as crazy as it has. I enjoy the show so much. Thank you guys so much for sharing this. And thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
Jill.
Jill.
It's fun to meet a fellow Jill. I don't meet many in my life, so I feel connected with you.
I saw this and I was like, oh, I wonder if Jill recorded a Bill of the Week.
No.
I was like, I half expected you to
be the one.
To be this. Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, this is a great one. Not only to have a lowered bill, but also this encouragement that you're giving us to look into the different benefits, apply to see if, maybe you're eligible to receive some of these discounts. If the discounts exist and you qualify for them, then they're there for you.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you're right. In a time when some of our costs are just astronomical and feel untenable, absolutely, we've got to take advantage of all of the resources available to us. So well done, even taking the time to look into these benefits, educate yourself on them, apply for them. We're not always guaranteed, but I am celebrating with you that you got this lowered. Sometimes just maintaining our costs can be all that we can hope for. Many are increasing. So to even experience a decrease is such a win.
Yeah. I was talking to a business owner the other day who was very into tax loopholes and tax strategies to lower their taxable income. And I was like, does it kind of feel cool but wrong because people with W-2 incomes cannot? And I won't share her opinion because I didn't really agree with it, but it got me thinking for the middle class, we feel some shame trying to ask for help and lower stuff like that, health insurance. But I mean, everybody else out there is trying to lower their premiums, their taxes, all that, not feeling any shame. And so this is what we have available to us. Not all of us are business owners who can, use tax loopholes to lower stuff, but you can do what you can. And if you don't know what you can do, you can try.
Mm-hmm.
So well done, Jill.
Yeah, thank you so much. If you all are listening, you have a bill that you want to submit. If it's an encouraging bill, if it's a bill about utilizing resources or lowering bills or bills you don't mind paying for, or bills who are out here paying their bills, frugalfriendspodcast.com/bill. We can't wait to hear it.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Sail to breathtaking destinations in Alaska or Europe with the Disney Cruise Line. Discover where onboard magic meets onshore adventures, where beloved characters
Hiya, pal!
meet alluring landscapes, where Broadway quality shows meet historic cities, where imaginative dining meets amazing wildlife, and where exciting experiences await the whole family. Book an adventure-filled summer Disney cruise to Alaska or Europe.
With the best all-inclusive vacation deals to Mexico and the Caribbean, booking your getaway with Cheap Caribbean Vacations means you have more freedom to do your deal. Whether you want to enjoy snorkeling, endless margaritas and more, or simply soak up the sun and sand in a tropical paradise, Cheap Caribbean Vacations has your deal for that. Plan and book the exact way you want at exactly the right price for you by using our exclusive Budget Beach Finder. Or find a featured all-inclusive package to Blue Diamond Resorts and do your deal at cheapcaribbean.com.
Amazon One Medical presents Painful Thoughts.
I could catch anything sitting in this doctor's waiting room. Ugh, a kid just wiped his runny nose on my jacket. And the guy next to me, sitting in a pool of perspiration, insists on sharing my armrest. Ugh.
Next time, make an appointment with an Amazon One Medical provider. There's no waiting and no sweaty guy. Amazon One Medical. Healthcare just got less painful.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today?
I think my battery's dead.
With free battery testing and charging, we can help you get back on the road.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
So what if I need a new one?
We have the right Duralast battery for you, only at AutoZone.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
And what about my old battery?
We can recycle it right here at America's #1 battery destination.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
And now it's time for
the lightning round. Pew. All right. If you told your 12-year-old self that you wrote a book, what would they think it was about? Ooh, I don't know.
What were you into at 12?
Youth group. Yeah. So I probably would have think some kind of like Christian nonfiction, which this is not by any stretch of the means. So that's probably it.
It's not that.
Nope, not at all. There are no curse words in it. I will say that.
Yeah.
So that's what I will give it. I'll give it that.
What do you think your reaction would be if you told your 12-year-old self you wrote a personal finance book?
I think I would be not shocked.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think I would be shocked. I would definitely always in the nonfiction genre.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is where I was always meant to be. You will not see me writing any fairy and dragon smut.
Right.
Nope, not there. I love it. I love reading it, but like that's too much outside of what I know.
Oh yeah, that didn't even occur to me. Would I have assumed it was fiction or nonfiction? I think my mind immediately went to nonfiction, but my 12-year-old self, the world I was living in, probably either like, yeah, I wrote a mystery novel. Or I would have thought that I wrote a like how to become an actress book.
Oh, wow.
As a young child, that was a goal of mine. Like, I want to become an actor by the time I'm 13.
Wow. You gave yourself goals.
Yeah. And then the closer I got to 13, I kept being like, it hasn't happened yet.
It's never going to happen.
Yeah. I was like big into drama and theater and such. So probably either of those two genres would have been my thought. If you would have said it's about money, I probably would have been like, oh, I become rich when I'm older. And I also would have been wrong.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for listening to this. I hope that you enjoyed this behind the scenes of writing Buy What You Love Without Going Broke. And I also hope that if you enjoy our show, if you support us, that you would take $25 out of your budget to buy a copy of the book. It would support us so greatly, whether you keep it for yourself or give it as a gift. It just supports us so much. If we have any chance of making a bestseller list, it's all comes down to the purchases made within the next few days. And we would love to see what kind of doors that would open for us. So thank you. And thank you so much if you have purchased or for listening. we would love if you would leave us a review of the book if you have pre-ordered it, or if you already have left a review of the book, maybe a review of the podcast, like this one from Georgie Cam that says life-changing. It's 5 stars. And they say, this year has been financially challenging for me based on changes in my commission-based retail job. It's caused me to feel very helpless and frustrated. I recently was introduced to the podcast through another favorite, Farmhouse on Boone, and I've been burning through these episodes ever since. I've learned so much behind the psychology of spending, and I feel so empowered. I've struggled in the past to spend less than I earn because my income fluctuates month to month, but I am now headed in the right direction. I do, however, take personal offense when they make jabs at the Ninja Creamy and its lack of importance in the kitchen, as it is one of my most prized possessions.
Yay.
But I know now that with values-based spending, that was a gadget well worth it to me. Thanks, Jen and Jill. Love listening to you guys.
This is so great, Georgie Cam. Thank you for, calling us out on that. I'm
Georgie,
so glad you like your Ninja Creamy.
I, the other day, thought about getting a Ninja Creamy, and I was like, oh my God, I've made so many Ninja Creamy jokes. I can't possibly. But I was thinking about it because I saw some pretty good recipes. But maybe over the summer, I'll just get one on Facebook Marketplace.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And try it out. Maybe it too will become one of my most prized possessions.
Again, I love it when I hear where people have come from, like how they heard about us. And then we've been having so many reviews lately that are giving such tangible examples of the way that the podcast has helped them, which tells me that maybe we're coming into our era. Truly, we've found our voice. And I think the book helped us get there.
I know it did.
To really solidify kind of our current messaging and how we want to say it. And then to hear, it's just so heartwarming isn't quite the right word. I don't know what it is, but
it's gratifying.
Super meaningful to realize, oh man, you've actually made some big beneficial strides in your lifestyle and actions and decision-making around money, which will benefit you for the long term. You did that. Well done. We are just so floored to get to be a part of that. So anyways, thank you for that in-depth review. And if you all haven't reviewed the show yet, we would be so grateful if you did. You don't have to be as wordy. You don't have to tell us all of the things, but if you've got kind of specific examples, we love that
or
too.
Be wordier.
Yeah,
you do
it all. Wherever you're listening to the podcast, review the book. All of it helps us. We appreciate you.
Thank you. Frugal Friends is produced by Eric Siriani. Okay, what are we doing to celebrate tonight or tomorrow? Because I know we're going over the next few days, we're going to go to all the Barnes and Nobles in the Tampa Bay area and sign books. So if you're in the Tampa Bay area and have not purchased a book yet, or you just want a signed copy and you want to return your book that you bought and buy one of the signed copies, I don't know if that's unethical. I don't know if you can do that, but we're going to go sign in Tampa, Pinellas, and Sarasota. All the books at every Barnes & Noble and Books A Million.
And we'll keep that updated on Instagram, where we are. But also feel free to reach out to us and let us know where you want us to show up.
Yeah.
If you're in the area, we could see if we could make it there.
So we're going to do that. We've got our event at Tombolo Books in St. Petersburg on January 14th. That's going to be fun. Q&A, reading, high-fiving.
We're having a party on the 18th at my house.
That's private, though.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying what we're doing, how we're celebrating. Hopefully, there's going to be an event in Pennsylvania. We don't have a date solidified. Again, we'll keep our Instagram
Hopefully
updated.
By the time this comes out, we will have something.
For sure. Yeah. Our Instagram will tell you.
So, but I really do think we need to get Margs.
Yeah.
A pitcher of Margs.
A whole pitcher.
A whole pitcher.
With lots of salt.
Yes.
I love that salt.
I'm living the salt life and I am consuming sodium.
Perfect.
Are you still quoting 30-year-old movies? Have you said cool beans in the past 90 days? Do you think Discover isn't widely accepted? If this sounds like you, you're stuck in the past. Discover is accepted at 99% of places that take credit cards nationwide. And every time you make a purchase with your card, you automatically earn cash back. Welcome to the now. It pays to Discover. Learn more at discover.com/creditcard, based on the February 2024 Nielsen report.
Sail to breathtaking destinations in Alaska or Europe with Disney Cruise Line. Discover where onboard magic meets onshore adventures, where beloved characters
Hiya, pal!
meet alluring landscapes, where Broadway quality shows meet historic cities, where imaginative dining meets amazing wildlife, and where exciting experiences await the whole family. Book an adventure-filled summer Disney cruise to Alaska or Europe.
With the best all-inclusive vacation deals to Mexico and the Caribbean, booking your getaway with Cheap Caribbean Vacations means you have more freedom to do your deal. Whether you want to enjoy snorkeling, endless margaritas, and more, or simply soak up the sun and sand in a tropical paradise, Cheap Caribbean Vacations has your deal for that. Plan and book the exact way you want at exactly the right price for you by using our exclusive Budget Beach Finder. Or find a featured all-inclusive package to Iberostar Hotel and Resorts in Jamaica and do your deal at cheapcaribbean.com.
At David's Bridal, love is in every stitch. From the initial sketch to the final details, each style is designed with exquisite craftsmanship. Every wedding gown, bridesmaid look, prom dress, and special occasion style in between features handcrafted details filled with love. Come see the magic in person. Book an appointment and sign up for Diamond Loyalty to save 15% on your first purchase. Earn points towards special rewards and more at davidsbridal.com.
Amazon Pharmacy presents Painful Thoughts.
The guy in front of me in the pharmacy line is halfway through an incredibly detailed 17-minute story about his gout, a story likely more painful than the gout itself.
Next time, save yourself the pain and let Amazon Pharmacy deliver your meds right to your door. Amazon Pharmacy. Healthcare just got less painful.